Welcome to the Tangle with Kyle Ridley, and welcome to our 50th episode. I'm so excited to have you here. This has been an incredible 7 or so months since I launched the podcast. We have had amazing guests, and I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I hope that you'll stay. I've seen a nice boost in listeners over the last few weeks, and that just warms my heart, and it makes me really passionate to keep on going, which of course I will, because this is a huge passion of mine right now. No, it's not a moneymaker. I don't have ads. I don't have sponsors. I'm a former journalist. If you're new, I was in TV for 10 years, been a journalist for more than 20. I started in print journalism and booked more than 15,000 segments over the years where I prepped anchors to do these short 3 to 5 minute interviews. And now I'm getting to sit down with these people that I love and do long form interviews and get to the underbelly of their life and their career and their upbringing and the biggest lessons they've learned. It's such a joy. And we have such an incredible guest with us today. She was on my dream list from the very beginning, and I'm so honored that she took the time to sit down with me for an hour. I'm talking about the absolutely hilarious, laugh out loud Heather McMahan. I've been listening to her every week on her Absolutely Not podcast for many years now. I came across her right before the pandemic, and just fell in love right away. I've seen her live. She came on my old morning show a couple times in DC, and she is the real deal. She is exactly what you would expect. She's exactly how she is on her podcast and her live shows. Just the funniest, warm, kind-hearted, full of life, bigger than life personality. I just adore her. You're going to love this conversation. But first, as for what I've been tangled in this week, I've really been tangled in community. And I've been guesting on some podcasts lately where we talk about my life, which is new for me. Usually I'm the one interviewing people. So getting to put myself out there a bit and talk about myself has been a little scary, but rewarding ultimately. And one thing that I've been asked about is just, being in the gay community, which is a big part of this podcast, the LGBTQIA plus community, and how I really didn't become a part of it until my late 30s. It was right before my divorce that I started getting out there and meeting new people, and have continued to do so through the years. And I sort of made it a goal, a mission of mine to build a community, because I never had community outside of close girlfriends and family over the years, and I love them dearly. But, they marry, they have children, they move away, we don't see each other as much. So as I was nearing 40, I was like, I have always felt outside of the gay community, and I want to be a part of it. I know they always say find your tribe, and I just never put myself out there to really find that tribe. So in my late 30s, I got on the apps. I started networking. I met many, many, many people. I actually kept a list. Maybe someday it'll become a book, but it's in the hundreds. And no, these aren't hookups. These are coffee dates and just casual meetups to get to know someone and see who you connect with. And I have built such a wonderful community of men in my life that I never really thought I would have before, because when you feel like an outsider, you never really feel like you're going to penetrate that inner circle. But I think a lot of it is just fear, and also having stereotypes of what gay men are, and no one is one dimensional, that's for sure. So my partner and I have actually had fun lately getting on the apps and making new friends and making new couple friends. And, we have a trivia group that we go out with every week, and we love to go dancing on the weekends, and obviously casual stuff, movie nights, dinners, meet at a bar, karaoke. We love going to the beach. And I just sort of want to take the time to acknowledge that if you don't feel like you have a community, I know it sounds scary, but put yourself out there. We need to get rid of the fear of rejection, because if someone's rejecting you, that's not who you want in your circle anyway. That's not who you want in your corner. But putting yourself out there, and that doesn't mean you have to go to all the bars if you're not comfortable with that. There's many ways to connect and network online if that's what your comfort zone is. There's many groups that you can be a part of that don't involve drinking or dancing or, being all out there. There's quiet places you can enjoy as well. But I do want to give a shout out to the DMV gay bars, the DC, Maryland, Virginia gay bars, because many have closed over the years, and many restaurants in general in the area are closing, and around the country. They're being put through a lot. So I want to give a shout out. And if I miss any, I'm sorry. I have been to all of them, or most of them, and I think I know most of them in my head. And there is a place for everyone. So if the bar scene isn't your scene, That's fine. But once a week or, a couple times a month, I enjoy going with my friends and I want to give some love. So let's go down the list for all my DC boys. If you're on the fence or you're not sure where to go, here's a little guide. If I forget any, add it in the comments below. But we love Trade. That's a great place to just get your dance on, get your affordable drink on. They have a wonderful outdoor area. It's big. They've expanded recently, so they have multiple rooms. They even have like a speakeasy, quiet downstairs basement bar that is really cute. And they have a shark room, which is like a big dance club room, which is becoming very popular right now. And I love dancing in that room, and I'm known to. I become a kissing bandit in that room after hours, so find me there. It's all ages, all types of people, so that's a great one. There's JR's, which is a classic one that has been around forever. It is a corner bar on 17th Street, and they're known for their drag shows, and they have a wonderful show tunes night if you're into that on Monday nights and Saturday nights. There is Crush, which is a bit newer, a couple years now. I put them on my old show a couple times, and they have a wonderful upstairs vibey bar with vinyl everywhere. And my good friend DJ Matt DJs there, I think every Sunday, which is also their hot dog Sunday where they give out free hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs, but perfect place for it, right? There is Uproar, which is kind of your bear bar, but it's not, no one's exclusively anything, but they have a great Sunday fun day, especially in the spring and summer when it's warmer outside. They have a big patio where you can get shirtless and see all your, fantastic, fabulous, hairy men and others. There is number 9, which is kind of more of an upscale-ish vibe. Classic curated cocktails, but obviously you can get whatever you want there. Little Gay Pub. It's little, it's gay, it's a very cozy place. I've been there a few times and it's always packed, so you're going to find some good folks there. Thirst, which is DC's Black-owned LGBTQ plus bar. Highly recommend that. Larry's Lounge, very small lounge. I've only been there once, but I need to give them a shout out. Nellie's, which has been around a long time. It's a sports bar. They have wonderful drag brunches and drag shows. Kiki, which is huge, many levels, many different rooms. It's all ages. I think it may skew a bit younger the few times that I've been there, but it's always a fun time. Licked, which is a coffee/cocktails bar, cozy, like living room apartment vibe, very small, but very nice. Freddy's, which is across the bridge. So it's actually in Virginia in Crystal City near the airport, near DCA airport. It's a beach bar, very well known for their drag shows and karaoke, which I have been known to frequent. I haven't been there in forever, but I need to make it back to Virginia now that I'm in Maryland. But I love Freddy's. They also have one in Rehoboth Beach. Then we also have Green Lantern, which has been around a long time. And shout out to manager Howard, who I love. Green Lantern is known for their Thursday shirtless happy hours, which is from 10 to 11 at night, and you get free drinks if you have your shirt off. And I think from 12 to 12:30, you get free drinks if you have your pants off, if you're in your underwear. I may or may not have participated in those events. They also have some more risque nights, leather night, jockstrap night, pup night, disco night, underwear night. You can find whatever you want at Green Lantern. Good smoke room, and who knows what you'll see on the dance floor. Then we have Bunker and we have the Eagle, which are right next to each other. And those are, I mean, there's different themes every night. You're always going to find a friend if you're in the leather community at one of those bars. Hey, you're also going to find a dark room at the Eagle if you want to imbibe in some private public darkness. We also have Pitchers and a League of Their Own. So there are not many lesbian bars in the country, but Pitchers is a gay bar and a League of Their Own is a lesbian queer bar, and you can always find a good dance party there. I haven't been enough, but it's in Adams Morgan, I believe. There's Peach Pit, which isn't a bar, but it's at DC9, which is a bar, and it's once a month, and it's my favorite dance party. It's, again, with my friend DJ Matt, and I think it's coming up this weekend, and it's all 90s, which, that's my favorite thing. So you can dance the night away to all 90s music, and it's not just 90s dance music. It is, I mean, you're dancing to Celine Dion, you're dancing to Desiree, you're dancing to Alanis Morissette. Hey, we danced to Tori Amos last time, Cornflake Girl, okay? I love it. Guys, leave whatever I've forgotten in the comments. Oh, there's Spark. It's new. It's sober. You can get your mocktails. You can get your sober vibes on there. Very nice. It's right next to Crush. So I'm just encouraging everyone to support and embrace these bars that are oftentimes under attack, especially in DC right now. You'll find your tribe, you will find your community, and we are a welcoming community, gay men in general. There's a place for everyone. And so, yeah, there's my love letter to the gay bars of the DMV. All right, guys, let's get to today's wonderful guest, who is also a huge fan of the LGBTQIA plus community. The wonderful Heather McMahan, my dream guest. I just adore her. You will too. Make sure to follow her, listen to her weekly podcast, Absolutely Not. She has a new special coming out, which we get into. Also, remember to stick around after the interview because I'll give you my new Tangled in song, whichever, tune I've been embracing this week. But for now, welcome the hilarious, beautiful, heartfelt, all-around fabulous Heather McMahan. Well, just a little background on my fandom. So I discovered you somehow right before the pandemic. I mean, you were blowing up on social media. So it's been fun to watch you these past 6.5 years because I remember pre-pandemic, you were driving to New York because you were moving there. And then you were like in Asia right before COVID. And we were thinking it wasn't going to be a big deal. So I'm just curious how you would encapsulate these last 6.5 years, because in some ways it seems like yesterday and some ways it seems like 20 years ago.
I feel like we all have a collective trauma and PTSD from COVID, but also like it was a weird blessing because so many wonderful things happened in my life at the same time. So it's just been kind of a absolute. I don't even know how you say it. Hold on, Kyle. Give me 1 second. There's something. I have a curling iron that's touching plastic and it's going to burn this whole place down. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, this was a perfect example of what my life is like. I'm in my office curling my hair at the 10th hour. It's a shit show, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
I love it.
The last 6.5 years, it feels like COVID started yesterday. We're in it. We're still, it was 100 years ago. I don't even know how to describe time and space. Like, what is time and space anymore? The wild thing is I felt like I got my big burst before COVID because I was in the thick of touring before COVID. And then it happened. And then I got an even larger audience. And then it was back off to the races. So it's been this weird like roller coaster of me always though just staying in my lane and doing like what I love. And then somehow it's worked out for me. So I'm just so grateful. But how do I encapsulate the last 6 years? A shit show, like absolute chaos. That's the best way to describe it.
So what about before social media, before the big social media boom? I know if people listen to your podcast, they know you've worked in restaurants your whole life. You worked in a gym, a fitness place in LA. You've done stand-up, improv, characters, sketch. Like, what was your core passion?
I always knew that I wanted to do comedy from like a small kid. I was in theater. I did like one-act competition plays growing up in high school. And then I did theater in college. So I always knew I was going to be an actor or do comedy. But then I worked 55,000 survival jobs to make that happen. I will tell you this. If somebody pulled the rug out from under my feet tomorrow, I know I could go and like do real estate or run a hotel. Like hospitality is my middle name. That's just what we do. I'm also Southern, so that helps. But my core passion was always just connecting with people. And so when I worked all these different survival jobs, I would just get a high every day because I'm meeting characters. Like, do you know what it's like working at high-end restaurants in New York City and seeing the fucking crazy people that you wait on every day? Like, everyone's nuts. Everyone has a story. So for me, even when I was working the survival jobs, I had fun every day at work. I'm that kind of person where it didn't matter what I was doing, I was going to find the joy and have fun doing it. And that's just always been my personality. Like a couple of my friends are all Capricorns and they're miserable all the time in the best way. And that's why I love them because they're cynics and I keep them around, But I'm always like, oh, we're going to have fun even at the DMV. Like I'm a sociopath like that.
And you have so many original characters, although that's not what you typically tour with. But if you watch your social media, you've developed so many characters. Was that done more so solo, or were you ever in improv or sketch groups? Did you study it? Were you influenced by Saturday Night Live?
So embarrassingly enough, my high school yearbook quote is live from New York at Saturday night. I always wanted to be on SNL. So after I graduated college from my theater program, I moved straight to New York and started improv and sketch at UCB. But my characters were always done by myself. Like I was in sketch groups, but I could never make it to like the top level. I started out like auditioning. I was in all the classes, but I really thrived once I was like off on my own. Once I was doing my own thing and I was sitting in my apartment in LA, I'd left New York, I moved to LA, and this is the very beginning of when Instagram was really taking off and like you could post videos and stories. So I was able to like bring in an audience when Instagram stories became a thing. Now everybody does it, but that's how I really launched. People would tune in every day on their phone to be like, what kind of wig does Heather have on? What kind of crazy character is she doing today? And that's how I really got my start.
Yeah, I remember your characters. What was the mustache guy? It was like the COVIDs.
Oh my God, the COVIDs. Well, that was funny because those were filters during COVID. But before that, like I did a long stint as Pablo Escobar. Like I did Pablo Escobar, doing philanthropy work, going out volunteering, auditioning for the musical Hamilton. Like I was wheeling and dealing for a really long time, doing these characters. And then I used to open for myself as one of my favorite characters. She's an original gal named Brenda Carlisle. She's Mississippi's #1 real estate agent. And she was a character that I created almost like over 10 years ago. And she's just crazy and overly confident and insert foot and mouth. Nothing she said was politically correct. She was out of her mind, but she was selling townhomes like hotcakes. So I would open for myself as her. And some people would come to the show and not know who this character was. And then I meet them at the meet and greet afterwards. And they're like, that woman who opened for you was out of her fucking mind. I'm like, that was me, like it was just insane. But I'm also a nut job to put myself in that position to like do the most at my shows.
And you are a constant hustler. I mean, would you describe yourself as a workaholic? Because we know that you can vacation. If we know you know how to travel and take time for yourself, but also if you listen to your podcast, it's been hard for you to be home this winter because you haven't done the red carpet or been on tour as much. Like, is your brain just always like, what's next? I need to hit the road?
Yes, 100%. And I feel like last year I did a ton of things, not necessarily well. And I said, this year I really want to be intentional about what I'm saying yes to. And it's such a rat race because when you're hot, you're like, go, go, go. Yes, yes, yes. And I enjoy everything I do, but it's so hard to pivot your brain from I'm doing sports broadcasting to now, which I'm not a broadcaster, but you're like, I'm doing a sporting event to I'm on tour. I'm shooting a campaign, and then the next thing you know, I'm doing the red carpet, and the next thing you know, I'm auditioning for this thing. Like you get up every day and it's not the same thing. And that's beautiful because that's how my brain works. I have like crippling ADHD in a beautiful, creative way. But I really said I was like itching this winter, and I called my manager, Maggie, who I've been with forever. And she was like, Heather, we intentionally gave you some time off to like recalibrate. And I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm writing a TV show for Hulu. I'm working on my new hour, all this stuff. So there's so much going on, but it is hard when you're used to go, go, go. And honestly, that's what I love to do. I love to work. I need purpose. I need to be running around. I love connecting with people and making them laugh. So sitting at home and just staring at my husband gets expensive because then I just end up redecorating. And then the next thing you know, I've bought 14 different rugs. And he's like, why are rugs showing up at our house? I'm like, I'm bored, Jeff. I'm bored.
And you bought a house recently. So
Yeah, I bought a house recently. People are very upset that I'm moving out of my mom's house. But I think what people don't realize is if you ever want to have a baby, you have to be able to have sex wherever you want in your house, bring the romance back. So I have to move out of my mom's house. Like it's time. It was cute. Don't worry. She's only 15 minutes down the road. We're still thick as thieves. But it got to the point where she was never going to move out of the primary space. And we're bursting at the seams. And I said, Mom, at first it was when the cat died, we would move into the primary. Then it was when we had a baby, we'd move into the primary. And I said, she keeps dangling this carrot. I work too hard and I'm gone too often to not be able to come home to like my own space. So we bought a house.
Congratulations. You'll be moving in a few months. But yeah, I'm sure she'll still be all over your Instagram. And we love seeing her. She's the best.
She's the best. And listen, she comes on the road with me. She's coming on where I'm doing another cruise. She'll be on the cruise. I talk to her 65 times a day. But it's so funny because people in the DMs are like, oh my God, you're moving. Like, how could you do this? I'm like, I am almost 40. I need to have my own space with my husband. Like, everyone relax. I'd like to have sex in my kitchen. Okay.
We all would.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to list off because you're always sort of searching for the next thing, but I want to sort of ground you a bit because do you ever take it all in that you have a massive podcast for years? You've had 3 massive tours. You're recording your 3rd special now. You're a red carpet regular. You've done a hit cruise on your own. You've sold multiple shows. You're a Today Show co-host often. Like you got married, you bought a house, you're friends with Jane Fonda. But I also know you're a big fan of the power of vision boarding. So what is next? What do you still need to achieve? And are you fine with like, if nothing else happens, like I have really achieved what most people dream of?
You're so kind, and I didn't realize that I needed this self-confidence boost today. Because here's the wild thing, Kyle. I'm sitting in my office in my podcast studio, like I built this all on my own. And it's wild, but no, in this business it's so sickening because you're only as good as your last gig. So while you see all this stuff, all I'm doing is sitting at home before, or like driving to the next gig thinking it's not enough. It's not enough. And it's an illness. And so I've had some time this winter to like sit down and really think about, what do I want to do next? What do I want my mark to be? How do I want to bring joy to people in a different way? And sometimes you have to be reminded, like, quit bitching and quit self-loathing. But every comic hates themselves in a weird way. Like, it's never enough. And we're always calling our agents like, well, what's next? What's next? And you're on the road, you do all these shows every year and you're exhausted. And then you shoot a special and you're like, what an accomplishment. And then a month later, you're back on the road doing a new hour. So I am truly trying to slow down in a way where it's like, I am enjoying it, being present. I remember walking out on stage at Radio City and just being like completely overwhelmed. Like, I can't believe this is happening. How do I stay present in this moment? And then you finish Radio City, you say like, good night, New York. And then you're like, I got to get on a plane because I'm flying to Chicago for the next show. It's just crazy. But what is on my vision board? I mean, you can see one of them's behind me. That was my 2020 vision board, which set that on fire. Um, would I be happy to walk away from it all tomorrow? No, I wouldn't. I mean, I still want to do a lot of scripted stuff. I'm ready to put on a wig and play someone else. Like in stand up and podcasting, it's always me, but I'm an actor, like classically trained. I would love to act and tell somebody else's story. I think would be so fantastic. But I'm not ready to retire just yet.
No, yeah. Well, I think people don't always realize, like, behind all of this success, you're also constantly auditioning. You're doing self tapes. You've sold,
Yes.
what, 3 shows? We're waiting for one to get to air. It's like there's all this stuff that's like in development that it's like, what's the next step? So I think for a lot of the fans who are familiar with everything, it's like, why isn't you should have your own sitcom. But then it's like these networks have all these pilots in development, and what they sell one makes it to air. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the game has totally changed. Like an old pilot season, they may have picked up 40 shows. They shoot 10, and then 5 get picked up. Now you're lucky if like 1 gets shot, and that's just the nature of the beast right now. Our industry is always evolving and changing. But I think that's the frustrating thing: is all the things that I want to do are not things that I can self start. And as a comic, you're always a self starter. If I want to work out new material, I go to a club tonight, or I get on stage somewhere and I just work it out, and it's an instant gratification. So comics are the worst people to please because we're used to being able to like go get what we want. So to have a bunch of bigwigs at a network sit around and you have to wait 2 weeks for them to read your script, and then you wait another 2 weeks for notes, like that makes you want to pull your hair out because you're like, somebody give me an immediate answer. I'm ready to start cooking with gas and get this thing going. So that's why comics, I think, are some of the most hardworking people in the industry and the most insufferable, because we want it now because that's what we're used to doing. you know?
Yeah, and between scripts and stand-up shows, generating new tours, how often are you generating new material? Is it writing every day? Is it voice notes? Like, because 3 tours is a lot in 5 years.
Yeah, and most anybody in my camp and anybody who's produced my shows, they're like, you're giving away too much. Stop. And so I'm now learning to really like hone it back and not give away too much. But my thing is, if you paid money to come to a show, you got a babysitter, you went out to dinner, you did all these things. I know how expensive it is to go out. I want to give you the best 90 minutes of your life. And that means 90 minutes of stand up, not an hour, 90. And then I have opener. It's like, I want you to come out and have a full experience. And I also just love to yip yap with people. But I love what I do. I will say, like, thank God for the voice notes. I'm leaving myself diabolical voice notes, and I have like chronic insomnia. So I'm up at 3 a.m. leaving crazy shit while I'm on a trazodone and a melatonin. And then I'll wake up the next morning and I'm like, none of this makes sense. But it's like a beautiful mind trying to decipher what I was actually saying at 3 a.m. on some sort of sleeping aid.
Well, and every week you're recording a podcast, which is basically an hour of improv stand-up. Like, it's a story in itself. So between all of the shows and the podcast, I would assume that there is a lot of material for a book. Are you considering writing a memoir?
Funny enough, funny you should say that, Kyle. I met with my book agent yesterday, and yeah, we're getting that proposal out. And there are also stories, like people ask me all the time, how do you know what you share a lot about your family and your personal life? Like, how do you know what you want to share in stand up? There's also so much that I have not shared that I would put in a book, like deeper layers to a lot of things that I've been through in my life that I haven't talked about publicly. So that's definitely going to be like the meat and potatoes of the book, if you will. So I'm on that. That's another thing I got to add to the list this year.
And those are my favorite books, the ones that can have comedy but darkness and truth
Yeah.
inside. So I mean, and you're very candid about grief and all of that. So I'm sure there would be a lot to say. So I am looking forward to that for sure.
You're so sweet. Well, I'm excited.
So have you ever considered, outside of your stand-up hours, a one-woman show of characters? Have you developed that, or is that a future vision board?
So that is my dream. I mean, I started in comedy because I grew up on Lily Tomlin, Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball, all my favorite incredible women from SNL. Like that is where I truly thrive, is putting on a wig and playing like a really ridiculous, ugly character. That would be the dream. The funny thing is, when I started in characters, I went to go pitch a show that was just going to be straight sketch comedy characters. And then, they're like, well, nobody's buying that right now. So that would be the dream, but I think that's definitely something I have to do on stage. Maybe the next tour is I get weird and I do some black box theater shit, and it's just me in like some sort of glitter outfit, but it's just everybody has a new wig and a hat. I don't know. We could get really weird with it. I miss those like weird creative days.
Oh my gosh, I could totally see that. But yeah, they're not making those right now. I guess the last one was probably like Inside Amy Schumer, but I could totally see you having that type of show. Oh my gosh. All right. I want to talk about your comedy community right now, because you live in Atlanta. You're not in LA. You're not in New York. You're not in Austin.
Yeah.
Do you have a close-knit comedy community, and is it supportive or competitive?
I've kind of, it's all supportive. And it's all competitive at the same time. Like I have my folks that I'm close with that I kind of came up in comedy with, but we are all on tour. So that's the wild thing. Even if you live in New York or LA or Austin, everybody is on the road every weekend. We don't get to see each other. Like I have my girls, that I'll text on the rag and be like, hey, where are you tonight? Cincinnati? Like, how is it? But we're all working. And in Atlanta, like we have a great comedy scene here, but I kind of like to be removed from the scene, if you will. I like to do my thing. I still hang out with my best friends from high school. So I live in Atlanta. I do my thing. I go to my country club. I play the ladies 9-hole golf. And then I like go out on the road, or I'll go into clubs, or when I'm in LA, I'll go in and pop in and do shows. And I just kind of do my own thing. Yes, it is always competitive, but that's why I realized a long time ago, I'm not going to please everybody in this business. And I don't. I'm friendly to a detriment, and I've realized that, like, truly, I thought I was just going to show up and it'd be like Sorority Rush, where I'm like, we're all going to be friends, right? And then I quickly learned that that's not how the business works. So I stick with the people that have been good to me, and then I just try and meet new folks along the way, but I don't feel like I have to be in New York or LA to, like, be in that rat race. Like, if I was on tour and didn't have a moment just to sit around normal people who don't give a fuck about comedy, I would go crazy.
Yeah, and let's talk about when did you decide like you were going to be so, I guess, unapologetic and outspoken? Because I think a lot of people, upon maybe viewing you, they might view you as a Southern comic, or maybe a conservative comic because you're Southern. But you've been very outspoken about politics, where you stand, being a feminist. Were you raised that way, or was there something that clicked years ago? Was like, I'm not going to hide or cower any of this, and people need to know where I stand?
It's funny. I had this, everybody from the South has a Mimi, okay? It's your grandmother who is specifically Southern. And I had this like real Dixie Democrat Mimi from Arkansas who was mean as hell to me. I mean, she bullied me my whole life. And I don't know why I somehow now like her spirit comes through me, where she's like, be fearless. It's almost like she gave me the confidence later on in life, even though she was always like slapping my hand away from a cookie jar when I was little, being like, honey, you're chubby. You don't need that. But there's something about like I'm channeling that energy of my me, who is unbelievably fearless. But also, this is the thing. Everybody wants to put Southerners in a box. It's so funny. People will ask me in interviews all the time, like, why don't you and Leanne Morgan do more stuff together? I'm like, I love Leanne. I see her at every party. She's a doll. We're friendly. Like, she's the best. I love her husband. I love her kids. But we could not be more opposite. And just because we're both blonde and from the South does not mean that our material, our point of view, our life story is going to be the same, right? She thrives at what she does. I thrive at what I do, but it's just totally different. So it's really interesting how folks always try and put all of us in a box because we're Southern. And also in the industry, they're like, oh, there's only space for like 2 Southern women at a time, right? It's crazy. It's really nuts.
Yeah. And what about, there seems to be a weird divide right now in comedy between like women podcasters, and then there's like the podcast bros and that are getting political. Have you consciously chosen to sort of walk the line and not delve into any of that? But at the same time, it seems like you've ride the line because you can appear on everyone's podcast and share your views, and like you find room for all.
I totally get what you're saying, Kyle. Well, here's the deal. I was never going to sit down with Trump. Okay. So, like, what are we doing here? Um, and the podcast bros, I think, they're backpedaling a lot now. I saw something on the internet the other day and it was great. It was like, when people say, quit talking about politics, no one wants to talk about it. I don't get up in the morning. I'm like, man, I want to fight for democracy. Because years ago, we just kind of didn't have to think about it, right? We're all kind of floating along blissfully. And yes, there was crazy shit going on in the world, but we're living in a wild time now where our brain truly was never created to be able to calibrate and understand this kind of news cycle. And also, like, we have to talk about what's going on. It affects all of us. And I'm a woman. And if I didn't use my platform to stand up for what's going on with women, then what the fuck am I doing? And also, a lot of, yes, I talk about politics a bit on my podcast, but it's also like come out to my show is what I tell everybody. Like my hour is a full hour to bring everybody in. But that's the whole point of comedy is, and I grew up on like Carlin was one of my absolute favorites and Joan Rivers, just people who were really getting in the shit and the weeds and talking about stuff. And my job as a comic is to like go out into the world, see what's fucked up, see what makes everybody tick, and then find a common ground for us all to giggle about to like bring us back together. That's my job. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I don't do it perfectly and I mess up all the time and I feel like an idiot half the time that I'm trying to have like an intelligent conversation, but we're trying at least, right?
Yeah, and what I find really beautiful about you is you are so confident in owning any mistake that you had. Like cancel culture might be a thing of the past. People seem to pick up a bit faster now, but you stepped in it. I would assume being on the Today Show 5 days a week, being everywhere, you're open to public scrutiny. So w- how have you handled public scrutiny, and has it become easier to let it roll off, or does it bother you?
Nikki Glazer and I were talking recently, and she's like, at the end of the day, you just want everybody to like you. Doesn't matter what you do, right? Obviously, I'm in the public eye. So when people don't or you mess up, of course, it's embarrassing and it like kills your soul and you feel shitty. But also, I'm like, how can I learn from it, or how can I be a better person out of it? Or also, how can I get a new hour of comedy out of it, right? Like, and at the end of the day, my comedy has always been about me falling on the sword. What have I messed up? How have I stepped in shit? And then let folks come to my show, giggle with me, at me, through me. And then how do we walk away and be like, okay, now we get it. Or how can I be a better person from this? Like, I'm human. At the end of the day, we're all human. But I'm also a comic. So when shit has happened, it's funny. My comedy friends who reach out to me and they're like, you're a comic. Never, never apologize. So you do ride that fine line. But I will say my new hour that I'm about to shoot is very much so about how I've stepped in shit. And I am really leaning into it and peeling back the layers of what I have gotten myself into.
Yeah, well, I saw your tour. It was I think at the start of your tour, the Bamboozled tour. I've seen all of your
Yeah.
tours, but the one that you're about to shoot, Bamboozled, has it changed much since maybe little over a year ago when I saw you at Capital One Hall?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I had the whole Ryder Cup debacle that I talk about. Also, politics has changed. In my new hour, I talk about how I have to defend myself because everyone thinks I'm Southern and I have blonde hair and I went to the University of Mississippi and I love a very neat, tall, knee-high Jessica Simpson boot, like how I am not MAGA. And I break all of that down. So that's the wild thing is even I'm about to go back out on the road and start tour, but by the time I shoot this at the end of May, who knows what will have changed. So it's ever evolving, ever changing, for sure.
Yeah, and is this one probably going to follow in line with your others where it's like you shoot the special and by the time it comes out, you're on tour with the next material?
Yes, 100%. And here's the thing, I have learned so much. Like the last two specials, it was churn and burn. I've also learned as a producer. Like I said, I want to go into this one not on a 40 show run where I'm exhausted and I'm not taking care of myself. And by the time I get to my last show of the year, I'm losing my mind. I was like, I want to be strategic. I want to go to certain markets, really hit them hard for like 12 shows, then run the hour in a club for like 2 weeks and then go and shoot my special. Like I'm learning as I do this. That's what a lot of people don't realize is you can be in this business for 15 years and you're still learning after each special you shoot. So I'm trying to really work smarter, not harder, and be proactive instead of reactive in my career right now. So hopefully by the time I get on stage in Knoxville to shoot the special at the end of May, it will be like smooth sailing and we'll know exactly what we're doing. I say that it'll probably be absolute fucking chaos and I'll shoot a 2-hour special and then be an editing room hell for the next 4 months.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, everyone needs to check out your specials. Is this one going to be on Hulu as well?
Don't know if the ink has dried on the deal, but yes, it's going to be on Hulu and the other ones are going to Hulu too. So I probably shouldn't be saying this, but fuck it. Yes, I will be in bed with Hulu.
Because you're also working on a scripted series for them.
Yeah, I'm working on a scripted series. They've been so wonderful to me, and I love working with that whole team over there at 20th Century and at Hulu, and their Hulu comedy team is just awesome. So I'm very grateful that they want to have me back.
Fantastic. That series better make it to air.
I agree.
So let's talk about your podcast, which I've listened to every
Yeah.
single episode. Absolutely not. You're very candid on it. You talk about IVF, marriage, mom, grief, ovaries bursting on a plane, everything going on in your life. Do you hold anything back, or is it all on the table when you're podcasting? And is it cathartic for you?
It is cathartic. I should hold a lot more back. My therapist would say, Heather, an hour of podcasting a week is not your time to dish about all your thoughts and feelings about what's going on in your life. That's what you pay me for. However, I won't stop, will not stop. My thing though is anytime I don't hold on to anger, sadness. I don't hold on to feelings. I talk about it. I let it out. That's the beauty of going on stage every night. Talk about it, let it out, work through it, and then I'm over it. I am not a grudge holder. I don't not talk to people who have even wronged me in my life, which will be my downfall and my detriment. And it's not that I want everybody to like me. It's just that I let things go. I'm like, life is short. Fuck it. Let it go. My husband, on the other hand, is he's an 85-year-old Italian man. And he will, if you wrong him at, I don't know, a bagel shop, he will never speak to you for the next 100 years. Like, so he balances me. I say, I make him softer. He makes me harder. But to say all of that, there's a lot I should not say on my podcast, but I just do anyways. And it is very cathartic for me. But it's honestly my favorite part of the week. And Kyle, I love that you listen. Like, you're a doll. I appreciate you so much. Thank you
Oh
for
my gosh.
tuning into the madness.
I love it. I don't think I hope more people need to realize how much of a talent that is to do an hour just by yourself talking. I mean, are you prepping much? You just coming with a couple bullets and just freewheeling?
I should be more professional with bullet points, but no, it is an actual free ball. I do zero prep. I don't write a bullet point. I come in here after an iced coffee and I just let it rip, which is probably not that professional. But I've started listening back to the episodes, like on my drive home from the office, just for quality control. And I end up like being like, what the fuck is even happening? But it works. I don't know. I mean, I could yip yap with you for like 6 hours. I just like to giggle. And I obviously want to bring in smart guests, but it was never a podcast. When I started this like 7 years ago, it was always supposed to be people calling on the hotline and me answering. And now, in order to be competitive in this game, you have to interview people. And half the time I forget, like, I'm friends with a lot of these comics that I interview, and I just want to sit and chit chat and low key gossip. And then I'm like, oh shit, we're recording and we have cameras. I have to button it up. So I'm trying to get better at interviewing. But I definitely know that just when it's just me looking into the camera, letting it rip, that's where I find the most joy in my week.
I love it. Every episode I listen to. Okay, well, now let's talk about some of your heroes. So you mentioned Joan Rivers, and there's so
Yeah.
much overlap. I want to talk about the influence she had on you and also the influence she's had on your stage presence, because you are not someone who will ever be in just a ponytail and a t-shirt and jeans, like even when you're workshopping. And she was like that as well. So do you find getting ready and putting on your your hair and your costumes, glittery stuff, is that part of that from Joan?
100% from Joan. When I was starting out in stand-up in New York, I would go see her. I mean, she could be at the tiniest club on the Upper West Side, or I worked at this restaurant on 43rd and Ninth, and she would go to this tiny little club in like a basement across from there. And when I get off my shift, I'd go watch her, and she was always dressed to the nines. Now, I am a Southern sorority girl, so I didn't even go to football games in a t-shirt and jeans. So let me just preface that. That has always been in my blood. When I moved to New York and started doing improv, I would show up to my improv class. Everyone would be in like sweats, and I'd have a full blowout, a faux fur on, my big hoops, and I'm like, guys, we're performing. Like, why do y'all look like schlubs? Like, get your life together. Let's figure this out. So for me, it's like putting on my uniform. If I was playing football, I'd have a helmet and some shoulder pads on. So for me, that's glitter and some sort of skirt and a tall boot. Now, do I have crippling sciatica from it? Yes. And is my back like permanently fucked up? For sure. But I will always show up suited and booted. It's just the Southern woman in me. But every time I would go see Joan perform, like she'd put on her glitter cape and she knew it was game time. And so I've just always loved to feel like I'm putting myself together for the audience. And I'll tell you this, Kyle, so crazy. So I won she just had an auction, and my sweet husband won this for me in the auction. I either wanted Joan's Chanel bag that Kathy Griffin, I found out, won, or I was going to get one of her performance robes, and I got one of her performance robes that I won. And I'm going to put it in a giant acrylic box in my new house, and I'm so excited.
We love Joan. And are you in touch with Melissa? Have you gotten to know her a bit?
Yes, and she's been so kind to me. I mean, when I was living in LA and Joan would go do like a book signing at the Grove, I was the first one in line, like a psychopath, like honestly, truly a gentle stalker. So I have all of Joan's signed books, and Melissa has been so kind to me through the years. And I just did her podcast 2 weeks ago, and I told her that I won her mom's one of her fabulous glitter performance capes, and she was like, "I'm so glad it went to you, Heather, because I know you're gonna like cherish it." And that is the first thing I will be hanging in my new house, is just that beautiful cape and a beautiful like shadow box. Probably in this room, I like to have martini rooms in my homes where it's just like it's got low Italian couches and you can go in there and drink a martini. And I want to have all of my Joan memorabilia, like again, like a gentle stalker.
I love
But
that.
but Joan was everything. Like, Kyle, why did you get you've been in production forever, and you're so incredibly talented. Like, what made you want to get into the biz? Who was that
Yeah,
person for you?
it was those women in comedy, and specifically, I mean, I love Joan. Watched her on the red carpet all those years, and
Yeah.
specifically for me, it was like Rosie O'Donnell,
Yes.
talk shows, '90s talk shows for me, and always women, always women.
Oh my God, I would come home from school. I never watched cartoons. I was never a Disney kid. I was watching Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael, Rosie O'Donnell, and
Oprah,
everyone. Oprah. Like I wanted to know the tea, the drama. Like who are we? How is the world crumbling? That's what I wanted to know. And that's
same,
probably why
same.
I'm a comic.
And now you've been on so many of those shows, and you know some of those people.
Yeah.
All right, now I want to talk about another one of your heroes, your dad, Kyle.
Yeah.
He always finds his way into your material, your stand-up, your podcast. How would he be responding or relishing in all of this success and these achievements right now? Or would he be keeping you humble like your mom?
It's a great question. Um, my dad would be happy because for the last like 6 years, as I was grinding, I was living financially conservatively. He was like, he would be happy that I wasn't like out there. I was being smart with my money, keeping an eye on my mom. I think my dad would just be elated, over the moon. And it's so bittersweet because my dad never got to see any of my success. He only saw the grind, the hustle. He would call me while I was in LA and he's like, how are you gonna pay your rent this month? Do you need me to send you $20 to go to Chipotle to eat for 4 days? I mean, it was truly like a grind. So it is so bittersweet that now that I've had success, but I know he's always there with me. And my dad, I don't know how woo-woo you are, Kyle, but my dad would always, and first of all, so people know, I'm a Heather Kyle. So I'm named after my father. So I obviously gravitate towards Kyle's. But my dad visits me as a yellow jacket or a bumblebee everywhere I go. And when I was trying to figure out where I was going to shoot my first special, I was doing a site visit in Lexington, Kentucky, where I ended up shooting it. And I was with my director, Jen Zabrowski, and I walk outside and a yellow jacket landed right on my hand. And Jen was like, well, it's a sign. Like, you have to shoot your special here. And it was so beautiful. And I'm so glad I did it. So I always look for little signs from him because I think if you're open to it, the universe will surprise you. But no, I think my dad would be thrilled. He would also, if my dad was alive, he'd be running merch. He'd have his own fan club. He would be flying me from place to place because he had his private pilot's license. Like we'd be in a little Cessna with boxes of merch, flying all around the country, and it would be fantastic. So I'm sad he's not here for it, but I'm grateful that I had, at the time, 28 wonderful years with a wonderful dad. Like I had one of the best, and he was cool, and he loved being a girl dad, and he always championed me and my sister. So I feel grateful that I had a good one while I did.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And you're still very close knit with your sister and your mom and
Yeah.
husband, Jeff. How are
Yeah.
they keeping you grounded through all of this mayhem over the last several years?
Well, I went to dinner with my sister and my mom last night. We went for a little sushi date, and the whole time we were just laughing our asses off. Like my sister and I are like, my mom's still absolutely out of her mind. I mean, they don't let me get away with shit. And also, like, my sister also won the senior superlative 3 years ahead of me for wittiest in high school. So we were both funny kids. And our whole family, I try to describe like our childhood growing up. You had to come to the dinner table with your best A game, your best A material. So my sister could be doing what I'm doing. My mom could get up and do an hour of comedy. My dad was a public speaker and super hilarious. So I came from this very confident family that was like, you can do anything. And also, we will talk shit to your face and you're going to figure it out how you can handle it. They don't let me get away with shit. I mean, I could be walking out to shoot my special and my mom's like, you've got food in your teeth, fix your hair extensions and put your tits out. Like get your game face together. So they keep me humble. I can't get away with shit. Kyle, I don't know what your family's like, but like my family doesn't let me get away with shit.
I love your family. Is your mom still dating, or did you take her off the apps after, some scammers?
Let me tell you what, Kyle, the apps are genuinely so dangerous. And this may be like my $1 billion idea. I don't know how I'm going to implement it. I don't really have time to start coding, but I've got to think of some sort of new app specifically for like silver sneakers because it is so impossible for this boomer generation not to get got with AI. Like, I want my mom to date, and people will suggest folks for her to date all the time. And I keep telling everybody, my mom already had the love of her life. She wants a man of a certain caliber of wealth to take her on yachts to travel. Okay. She's 78. The woman, God bless us, we've got 10 years left. Like, she's not looking for your uncle who lives on a fishing boat down in the Keys. You know what I mean? Like, she's ready to just go to Italy and live her best life. She also really wants an international man. So if any of your listeners have like a hot uncle from Spain who maybe lives in like San Sebastian in the Basque region and wants to like feed her small little hors d'oeuvres at happy hour all day, that would be fantastic for me. But it is really scary to see how many times she's been like catfished on the apps. It's insane.
Well, let's switch to international. You just mentioned, because if people
Yeah.
follow you, they know you love your form of treating yourself is travel, food, and
Yeah.
massages. It's not like trinkets or jewelry or clothes. So where else is on your dream list to travel to?
Wow, you really just called me out there, Kyle, and I'm so glad you did. No, I'm not a trinkets, jewelry, bag kind of girl. I am a let's go have a 2 Michelin star meal somewhere abroad. Well, I'm going to Japan soon, which I'm very excited, and I know that is like everyone's going to Japan now. I mean, listen to us, how privileged are we? But I'm going to Japan, and I've spent some time in Asia, and I will say Asia is one of the coolest places. I did Cambodia and Vietnam and Thailand with one of my dear friends right before COVID. So I'm very excited to get my super Italian husband in Asia to like take it all in. We're also very large people. So just navigating Asia when you're both like 6 feet and have broad shoulders and over 200 pounds, it will be funny enough in itself. I'm dying to go to South Africa. I really, really want to do a Cape Town trip. And where else is on the top of my list? I also haven't done South America. There's still so much of the Americas that I want to tour and travel. But I want to go to Argentina because I want to eat the beef. You know, I'm like, I strictly go to the places that I like to travel because I have every restaurant bookmarked and ready to go. Do I want to see a museum? No, I don't. I want to see restaurants. That's what I want to do.
And then get a massage.
And then get a massage. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, this show, The Tangle, I always ask my guests, we'll start with what's something frustrating that you need to get untangled from right now that's bugging you? And then what are you tangled in right now that you're loving? Immersing yourself, binge watching, reading. Let's start with the frustrating.
Okay, the frustrating thing that I'm trying to untangle myself in, and I know this is probably very niche to myself, but it is trying to find a good sleep balance. Now, hear me out. I have chronic insomnia. I also wear an Oura ring. Tell me why when I wake up, I got the Oura ring so that I could get better sleep. And then I take the Oura ring off in the morning and it says, your readiness score is -15. So therefore, I have crippling anxiety all day because I'm worried that my heart's going to stop and I'm going to drop dead because I had such bad sleep the night before. And then by the time I'm taking magnesium, I'm taking the trazodones, I'm doing all the things. I put Epsom salt bath, then I put magnesium spray on my feet and then put socks on. And then I don't look at I don't look at my phone 2 hours before bed. And then I have an EMF tracker, some bullshit, so that the brain waves don't like keep me up at night. I'm so tangled in trying to get better sleep that now it's giving me crippling anxiety that I don't sleep. So, Kyle, you figured out for me. How do I figure this out? Because my doctor yesterday said he's calling in a sleep study for me, and somebody's going to come to my house, wrap wires around me and heart monitors and watch me sleep like a pervert.
I mean, I've struggled with sleep, especially when I worked in news getting about 3 a.m. And I tried prescriptions. I tried melatonin. I've tried the teas. I would try like taking a shot. The thing that has helped me most has been edibles.
Yeah. I love the edibles. I'm not going to lie. I'm also on that train. But then I have to figure out, like, do I want to have full body itchy tinglies before I go to bed? And some days I do. And then some days I don't. I will tell you, Kyle, as somebody who is a wine connoisseur, I can't drink red wine anymore before bed. I could have like an 11 a.m. red wine, but if I have a 5 p.m. red wine, I won't sleep. I don't know what it does to me now. It's like once you hit over 35, forget it. You have one glass of wine, you're not sleeping.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Huge coffee drinker. But I make my own cappuccinos at home. I don't do Starbucks. If I have to, I will. I have my formula down pat. It's like my ritual in the morning, and then I don't have another coffee for the rest of the day. Now, when I'm in Europe, I'm drinking 60 macchiatos a day and 45 bottles of white wine at lunch, and I'm sleeping like a baby. So maybe it's just America is got me so rattled at night. But the
And a
thing is,
vacation sig. We know you're a
oh,
fan of that.
honey, nicotine gets a lot of people up. I have a vacation cig and a macchiato and a glass of red wine at dinner, and I'm asleep in my villa by 8 p.m. Yeah. And what am I trying
What are you loving, immersing yourself in, or binge watching, reading, anything activity you're loving?
Okay. So, I recently fell back in love with television. Hear me out. All right. What the amount I work, I don't get to keep up with everything. And I know that sounds like bullshit, but truly, I'm going to the next gig. So I'm having to study or write scripts or whatever. I am so deep in reality television. I am deep in every housewife franchise. I am back in it. I'm loving it. I'm foaming at the mouth like a rabid dog for more Dorit on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like I'm obsessed. Traders. I'm obsessed with Traders. I want to go on it so bad, Kyle. I think I would be so fantastic.
You
So
would.
I am trying to like aggressively disassociate every night. And that I will say that has helped me sleep. Like if I watch a bunch of rich white women claw each other's eyes out on television, I then somehow get the best night's sleep.
My gosh, we're going to get you on Traders. You would be perfect. I just had Candace on my podcast. You would be perfect for Traders. Ugh.
Candace is iconic. I will tell you though, I do have a touch of anxiety of how good I have to look on Traders. The lighting is very intense and their outfits are perfect. And I think they do their own makeup. Did Candace tell you whether or not they do their own makeup on the show?
She didn't tell me, no.
Because she looks fantastic. But what I've heard from, little birdie in the tree is that they have to stay in that glam all day, that they're doing it themselves. And then they're running around and like running up a hill, sweating, trying to find, the gold shield in the Scottish woods. So I do think I would really have to like set my outfits and my makeup and just really get my glam right before I went there because I wouldn't want people to say that I looked like trash in my confessionals.
Which housewives would you want in the castle with you?
Mm. Well, I'm bummed that I missed out on Candace and Lisa because I haven't met Candace, but I met Lisa a million times and she's wonderful, iconic. I think Erica Jane and I would thrive together. And, funny enough, she was on one of my vision boards. I had Erica Jane that I wanted to be friends with her. And then we just got to do an event in Vegas a couple months ago together. And I was like, Erica, you're everything. I love you. So I think Erica would be iconic. I mean, if Kathy Hilton could come even just for 2 episodes, I think she would be such a mess. But then I could borrow her giant box fan because I also have night sweats. So I think that would be iconic. If we could bring back Nene Leakes, she is everything to me. I mean, I miss her. I love her. I am OOOG Atlanta housewife till I die. She and Sheree, like if I could just have Sheree and I trying to do challenges together and we're like, who gonna check me, boo? That would fill my heart in a way that I don't think any love from my future children or my current husband could ever fill me with.
Are you a Salt Lake fan?
Of course, I'm a Salt Lake fan. Can I tell you how many times I get people tell me that I remind them of Heather Gay? And I take that I take that to the heart. Kyle, I was at a restaurant in Denver, and it was before my show that night in Denver. I'm walking outside. This woman runs out. She's been at brunch. She's been drinking all day. She's like, Heather. I turn around. Hey, girl, what's up? And she just goes, you're not the Heather I thought you were. I was like, which Heather were you looking for? She's like, Heather Gay. I was like, I'm so sorry. I am not her. Just another blonde Heather on television. And she was like, ugh. And like got pissed off and went back inside. And I'm like, that's the kind of humility that I need to have every day in my life.
What are your thoughts on the Golden Life?
Well, how about Jill Zarin getting fired?
Good riddance.
Good riddance. Bye-bye. What an idiot.
Dorinda's now hired, so.
Perfect. Dorinda's back. And I think Dorinda could be equally as problematic, but Dorinda at least is going to clip. Like she will let the host know what's up. Yeah. I mean, what a fucking idiot. Also, just way to show your true colors, Jill. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think E's making a comeback. Like E is making a strong comeback with programming, and I'm so thrilled and here for it. So I'm very excited. And everybody signed on to do it, right? Is it Sonia? It's Luann. Now we have Dorinda. Ramona. Is Alex
Kelly.
McCord?
No.
Kelly.
Yes. No, it's Kelly.
Kelly Ben Simone. I die for
And
her.
Bethany said she was asked, but considering, who knows?
Who knows? Kelly Ben Simone's Instagram, basically all of their Instagrams are so chaotic, and they definitely need to hire professionals to, like, post for them and edit their videos, but all of their Instagrams are just they're out to lunch. It's insane. It's
I would
insane.
love to see them bring back Carol. That would be fun.
Oh, I miss Carol. I miss Carol and her gorgeous, tiger stripe couch and her really unique apartment. I miss Carol. She
And
was
that gorgeous
fabulous.
guy she dated for a while. That was
Oh my
that was
god.
that was hot.
They but you gotta give credit to all of them. They've all have hooked up with very attractive men, so I'm very proud of each and every one of them.
All right, well, switching gears as we
Yeah.
end this, I always ask my guests this, and it's a heavier one, but we're living in, as you know, dark times, heavy times, pretty much for everyone. It's been this way for years. How are you maintaining hope? You are such a positive glass half full person. How are you finding hope and letting it sink in during these dark times?
You have to go outside and touch grass. The amount I've been power walking with the weighted vest and just, like, disconnecting has been really cathartic for me, but also going to do live comedy, like, yeah, I make jokes about politics here and there, but I'm seeing people's faces, I'm touching hands, we're having a moment, we're freaking blasting music in a theater together, dancing and having a good time. Like, you have to find community. And so being busy and being on the road and touring has really been such a blessing for me, and I hope that when folks come to shows, they can take their brain off the craziness. Like, turn your phone off for 2 hours and let's just giggle because we cannot control what's going on. We can only do our best. And to be able to just, like, literally say, "Do not disturb, don't call me, don't beat me, don't ask me for shit." In my audience too, which is predominantly a lot of women, they're constantly they're needed all day. So I want to give them the 2 hours just to truly disconnect and have a laugh, even if it's at my expense.
Beautiful. And you have a full house around you, your dogs just like me. I
Yeah.
know you're getting grounded there and keeping sane. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for speaking with me, Heather.
Kyle, I love you. And I just want to say that every time I went to your show in DC, every time I was with you, you're just such a true professional and you're so iconic and you're so kind. And I really want to say I'm so proud of you for launching this podcast. You've had huge, heavy hitters on here and you're crushing it. And what is on your vision board for the rest of the year?
Really just want to sort of make it on my own and not work for big corporate companies again. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do. So let this grow and sort of have my own media LLC with podcast producing and editing. Just I like having a little more balance now. So finding my own passions on my own terms. That's what I'm hoping.
Good for you. And you should. And you're absolutely crushing it. And also, I'm sure being able to sleep in till 8 a.m. is probably nice. Have you gotten on a better sleep cycle now that you're not getting up at 3 a.m.?
Much better than 3. My dogs wake me up around 6:30, but then, I let them out and we go snuggle for a bit more. So it's beautiful.
Kyle, you're living the best life. And I appreciate you for being so kind and having such thoughtful questions. Like, you are truly a professional. And whatever you want to do, the world is your oyster. And behind you 110%.
Thank you. You're just a dream guest. You've been in my ears for years every single week, and I will be continuing to listen. So thank you so much.
I love you, honey.
Absolute dream guest. Make sure to follow Heather McMahan wherever you can. Listen to her Absolutely Not podcast every week. Subscribe to Hulu because it looks like she has a lot coming in the pipe from Hulu. And I'm so happy that she's found a home there. All right, guys. Now, Tangled in song. What am I tangled in this week? I may have talked about this before, but I cannot get enough of Sarah Bareilles and Rufus Wainwright performing She Used to Be Mine at the Kennedy Center a couple years ago before, the takeover and before the downfall of the Kennedy Center. And I was actually at this concert with Sarah Bareilles. She sang with the National Symphony Orchestra, and she brought out Rufus Wainwright to perform She Used to Be Mine. This is possibly the most beautiful duet I have ever heard, and I keep rewatching it on YouTube, so you can find it there. And it never fails to make me cry. I cannot say enough about it. Their musical background and intelligence and just the way they work together in creating this masterpiece of a duet slays me. And Rufus sings first, and then Sarah sings, and they sing together, and it builds. And the way Rufus switches his voice from his lower register to his falsetto and back, it does something to me. It literally brings tears to my eyes. You just need to hear it. I can't say enough about it. And Sarah is just a queen. I cannot wait for her new musical to come out, The Interestings. It's being workshopped. Of course, we love Waitress. We love her solo albums. So please give this a listen if you want a good cry and also just want to respect and relish in musical masterpiece. Thank you all for joining me for this 50th episode. If you could, I would love it if you subscribe to this podcast. Even better, rate it on iTunes and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps. We have many more guests along the way. We are not stopping at 50, so please keep it here for the ride. I really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a double dose of episodes. Until then, you take care of yourselves. I will see and speak with you soon.